I'm Phyllis.
I'm Mike.
And I'm Kat.
And you're watching
Word of Mouth.
You and I, we could stay a tough act to follow in every way if you hold my hand and let the music start. Let the curtains part, let the spotlight glow.
Curtains is a show within a show. It's a musical about it's a sort of a murder mystery musical.
The story takes place in like 1959, like with the whole mentality of the gumshoe detective, played by David Hyde Pierce, and a theater company out of town opening a show that they want to bring to Broadway, and you know, all the foibles and foils of getting that to happen.
In the show, we are introduced in the beginning to the final act of the show that they're putting on about a Western version of Robin Hood. And in the end of the curtain calls in the fake show, the lead actress dies. And so the rest of the show is us trying to figure out, with the lead detective played by David Hyde Pierce, to figure out who killed the actress and how the different people, why these different people are in this show.
David Hyde Pierce is the detective and sort of wannabe director of the show, and it sort of just goes through, the cast isn't allowed to leave the theater, and it's really interesting to see like kind of the way that they put the production together. They sort of incorporated like the backstage as the set.
More so than investigating the crime, he spends more time helping the director block out new portions to the show and helps to write the song that will eventually become the showstopper of the show within the show.
It, in a way, reminded me of a little bit of The Producers, also sort of like poking fun at theater life and at critics and all of that.
Deborah Monk was wonderful. She was really funny and bawdy, and you know, all her numbers were great, you know. And her surrounding players in her scenes were very good too. But she was very, you know, anchored the whole thing. She was really good.
One of the other actresses that I thought was excellent was Megan Sikora, who played Bambi, who was also the daughter of the producer. And she had a great dance number.
Megan Sikora, who played Bambi, had incredible extension. She was just absolutely amazing, breathtaking, and really, really enjoyed watching her dance.
David Hyde Pierce was great. You know, he went through the whole show like he was making fun of himself, which is entertaining because he had a smirk on his face the whole time and knew that we weren't taking him seriously and he wasn't taking himself seriously.
David Hyde Pierce obviously is the main attraction to the show, and I thought he did an excellent job. He was funny, he danced and sang, which I didn't know.
It kind of missed a little for me on like who were the leading men. They were like, you know, kind of blendy. It was okay, you know, and you could tell that in the applause at the end.
Edward Hibbert, the gentleman who played the director, who we also know from Frasier, much like David Hyde Pierce, was very entertaining. Whenever there was a serious portion or something when you were kind of just getting lulled into the show, he always, you know, provided some comic relief or gave you something to laugh about.
My personal favorite was Noah Racy, who played the lead in the musical Robin Hood. I found his dancing was so smooth and flawless, and I just loved him.
The more interesting part of the show is watching all the actors and how they deal with each other in relation to the murder mystery. You don't really care about who killed the lady in the beginning of the show, but you care about how all these people are dealing with the fact that they're suspects and how their relationships change throughout the show.
I think it was great to see a musical that was a big, old-fashioned, slapsticky, kitschy, you know, everything that harkens you back to a really good musical of days gone by.
The score was good. There were no there was one show-stopping number at the end of the first act, but it's not a song that you're going to leave singing. They were all great songs. They were very funny lyrics.
The songs in the play were written by Kander and Ebb, which, you know, if you know some of their stuff from the past, is Chicago, Cabaret.
Pretty much the first thing I noticed was how much like power was behind the music, which added a bonus. The songs didn't, a lot of them, they sounded really similar, but they fit in with the show.
There were big production numbers. There were big set changes, you know, nice set changes. There were great costume changes. I don't know how they did some of them so quickly, but you know, they were really good.
I thought that it was really enjoyable. I loved watching it. I didn't want it to be over, honestly. One point, it was a little slow in the first act when it was sort of setting the scene of what's going on, who the characters were, and at one point I was a little confused of who's who in the show, but I think it sort of needed that to set the stage for what was going to happen later.
It was a great show. Very energetic and peppy and just fun to sit through. There was funny, there were, everybody jumped at certain portions of the show.
I would tell my friends and my mom's friends and, I don't know, everybody. I think it's for everybody.
Oh, I recommend it to anybody. Anybody at all. Everybody. I'd be talking about it for a while after I saw it. I was very happy to, you know, come out and be like, oh, you know, that was really good. So I'd be talking about it for a while, I'm sure.
I can't think of someone not to recommend the show to. If you want to go and see a show that you can enjoy, you don't really have to think. You can just sit and enjoy the show, you know, listen to the commentary, you hear some funny lines, and, you know, it's not going to change musical theater, but it's a great way to spend some time in the theater.